Choose your hero, brave warriors. That's what I do here. This might be pretty interesting. Let's do this. Let's do this for part of the time at least. Good morning. Welcome home, brave heroes. Wrong intro. I'm Ash. This is HeroQuest, and I have a lot of HeroQuest heroes for you to select from. Who do you select? Who is your hero? Who do you pick? Who do you main? If you are not playing as Zargon, which one of these are you in your typical HeroQuest game? Who do you reach for? This is everybody, by the way, that is currently available, retail and not, up to the point that this video was made. I fully anticipate there being something like 4 or 5 more at least dropping before our current HeroQuest run is completely finished. But today I wanted to go over the bloat. Let me explain. This is a first world problem. It's nothing to do at all with anything that matters, but on this channel, and this is how this channel works, you see, if you've been following, you know this, we complain about things that don't matter from time to time to make content. That way Mr. Ash earns ad revenue, and this is what we're looking at here. This is the real issue. If I present this to my team of players, and it's their first game ever, they are going to be picking through here, asking questions about hero after hero for about an hour. And that's gonna be session 0. Our session 1, possibly 1 and 2, due to the lovely simplicity of HeroQuest's roll to move system and 6 simple action rule set, will turn into a, but what if I had 6 body points instead of 5? That's how all of my players sound when they're at my table. But what if I had 6 instead of 5? What if? Those are the kinds of questions that they would ask, I just know. So to this end, I would like to know, what do you do when you're presenting your hero selection? I know that there are a lot of ways to do it out there, from Zargon buys all of the expansions and everything and basically offers this hero selection to their table, going ahead with the session 0, allowing everybody to kind of build their character, establish a little bit of lore about themselves, bit of role play before you slaughter them mercilessly, rendering it all for naught in the inaugural trial quest. Or perhaps you have a plethora of homebrew, a myriad of additional expansions, unofficial, that you add into the mix to enhance your roleplay and character building aspects of HeroQuest. They are almost non-existent, so these homebrew solutions do offer very valid additions to the base game, and warranted for a lot of players, especially those players who see the simplicity of HeroQuest as a downfall, but still want to take the potential of the game into newer, more complex heights, which is, ironically, one of the greatest strengths of the game. The first thing to do is to stop looking at this ugly red pile. I don't mean that it's ugly because it's red. I'd like to keep my heroes red. I actually don't like the idea of painting them. I do have 2 warlocks, one from the mythic tier and one from the Prophecy of Talor expansion, so that I can paint one, because I would really like to have my darling warlock painted. But I would like for all of the heroes to stay there very close to Mephiston red shade, because on my board, red means hero. Stay red, don't be undead. So let's apply some sortation to this, and I'll talk a little bit about where these guys are from and why they are from. Make this a little less visually dense. Let's take out some of the larger people first, and by people I mean not people, but gargoyle. This sparkly gargoyle is from the Prophecy of Talor expansion and is oft used as the demon form for the warlock. I think that's why it was included. Next, we'll go through and we'll take the 3 animal companions out. The animal companions are a great idea, at least in title. Everything about the animal companions makes no sense whatsoever. I'm waiting for them to give us a complete overhaul, just a complete replacement on animal companions, because as it stands, the concept of animal companions, while great, is completely misused. Animal companions are these sort of additional pseudo-heroes that you can take with you if you have fewer than 4 players on the team of heroes, the not Zargon players. And to that end, we have our wolf, our saber-toothed tiger. Rah! He's a tribute. This is a tribute sculpt, and I can't fault it because it's a tribute sculpt. I will not fault it, precisely because it is a tribute sculpt. And then we've got the raptor, because Jungles of Delthrak means dinosaurs. But in my games, what you would do if you had fewer than 4 players to play the parts of the heroes is you would just get more heroes. One of the players would select more than one hero to play as. Why limit yourself? So the animal companions should be in addition to the heroes, or they should have something about them that they can do that makes it advantageous to have an animal companion rather than a hero. Now, again, that's not important. It's very lame of me to even be complaining about it, but it's an opportunity for improvement. And if anybody over there at Avalon Hill is listening and is in a position to present a different idea, perhaps their own idea to the bigwigs, then, please take that opportunity. Do that. Any rule variant would be an improvement over what we have now. I will say this, if you are playing a quest that is intended to be a solo quest, period, then it could be way more thematic to have an animal companion controlled by that player as well, instead of an additional hero. So your player might get thrown into a jail cell, and when they escape, they befriend a wolf, or perhaps they break free a fellow detainee in the forces of dread, or perhaps they obtain a smoking piece of barbecued orc steak and they throw it to the raptor out in the pen, who, at least temporarily, becomes an ally. You feed me, barbarian? Thank you. I will rip these goblins to shreds and then run away. That sort of thing makes sense, kind of regardless of how the rules are set up, though. All right, speaking of Jungles of Delthrak, we've got our 2 explorers right here. It's been a minute since I've actually pulled these sculpts out to look at them, because I had all of the Jungles of Delthrak sculpts in with my Jungles box, not with my master collection, so it has been a little bit since I've pulled these guys out. Darling Warlock, we'll go ahead and give her own column. Beautiful singing orc boy, that's the bard. Our mythic tier druid, we're actually going to place her up here because she is not commercially available. The warlock's demon form is available. I'll place it over the warlock, but I have it separated because by default we don't need this in with the bag o' heroes. We'll take out our monks who are still wandering the path, although they're not doing a whole lot of wandering now because they are commercially available yet again as of the time of this video. You should be able to find them on Amazon. I guess I should say that they are wandering again instead of being lost. Don't you wander when you're lost? No, not all who wander are lost. We've got the 2 druids that come with Against the Ogre Horde. Very happy to see them. Do wish that this sculpt would be re-released, and perhaps it will be with, this video is being filmed in February. We've got Gen Con coming in the summertime. I think that it's not beyond the trailer park of reality that this druid sculpt will come back. Maybe there's a lot of people out there that feel it doesn't need to, but trust me when I say nobody's going to be sacrificing any creative resources in order to get this back. It would be a matter of logistics and just moving things around. So getting this doesn't mean that we'd be missing out on something else. I stand firm by that. So it would be a good thing, by all accounts, to get the druid sculpt. However, I could understand if it's kind of lost to the ether forever. And speaking of lost to the ether forever, sadly, unfortunately, I still cry. We have the Commander of the Guardian Knight sculpts, who are amazing. They are excellent. I love them. I'll place them up here because they are not commercially available, but the Knight sculpt is available, and the Knight sculpt is rocking. The Knight is awesome. It's androgynous. This can be played by male, female, whoever can play this and hopefully be contended if they're wanting to play a knight character. It's got a kind of a Dark Souls vibe to it with the helmet as well. And I do love the coat over the armor. All right, we've got Sir Ragnar, but he doesn't belong in the hero bag. He's red for his 1 appearance, and I'm just gonna put him next to the animals because he's not much better than an animal companion. Mechanically, he's definitely not better, and morally, this is a much better boy than Sir Ragnar. We've got our explorers. These are the treasure hunters of the Jungles of Delthrak. I'll place them next to the berserkers. Move things over just a little bit. All right, next up we have our 5 sculpts from the mythic tier. These are the alternate gender sculpts of the main heroes and the mentor miniature. I'll place them all kind of in their little group because they are not commercially available either. And that has caused some inconsistencies with our hero distribution, our availability of different appearances, body types. We'll get to the original Fab 4 here in just a second. We have rogues to look at, and the rogues are, as of right now, kind of up in the air. I think right now they've gone the way of the Wandering Monk, where they're just not available. I don't know, as of the time of this video, if they're going to come back. I hope that they do. I really hope that they have another run and that anybody who gets into the game because of First Light gets this amazing opportunity to look back at the massive catalog of existing expansions and hero collections and gets every opportunity to delve into it. I hope that it's profitable enough for this kind of paradigm to exist. We have our barbarians next. We have our base game barbarian and the alternate from the Frozen Horror. Place them over here. Barbarian should always be the first out of all the selections. Who's next is a matter of taste, but in my games it's usually going to be the dwarf with the elf next, the elf being the next selection. We have our female elf in the base game. We have the male elf from Mage of the Mirror. Then we have our wizard. This is actually the mythic wizard. She looks so familiar, similar to the male wizard. Here we go. Take this wizard, place him right here. As you can see, this is our lineup of the most accessible heroes. In somewhat of a particular order, we have barbarian, dwarf, elf, wizard, knight, rogue, monk, druid, bard, warlock, berserker, explorer. That's 12. In my opinion, 12 is an awesome number of heroes. There are a lot of different options here for people who have vastly different playstyles. We've got tank type characters who can lead the charge, heroes who are a bit weaker that have to kind of stand back and launch fireballs, heroes that can be very versatile depending on how you use them and provide a lot of healing to the group or unleash massive attacks like glass cannons. Backup tanks, if you get them plate mail and battle axes, and that could really apply to a lot of the heroes here. And then just heroes who are a lot of utility, designed to be very flexible in how you play them. Who do you choose and which sculpt is your favorite? We've got some gaps here as well. I've got them kind of paired off by sort of how their design expressed their body type, gender and all. We've got only one dwarf. The female dwarf is still locked behind a mythic door. Dwar? Did I just say dwar? D-W-O-O-R. All dwarves use dwars. It's a known fact. I don't make the rules. Just like all elves use bidets, all dwarves use dwars. Now you could take and use your explorers as dwarf sculpt variants. It's perfectly acceptable, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of people have done. They've also given the dwarf the explorer abilities. We could talk about that for an entire video. The giving of the berserker abilities to the barbarian, but sculpt-wise, selection of sculpt-wise, these are all valid options. Now for my own games, what I'm probably going to do just to fill in these gaps is I will do nothing for these two because I can't, because I don't have any gaps, solutions for the gaps here. I don't have a male halfling warlock. I think that'd be kind of lame anyway, just to be honest. It's my personal preference. I don't know. I could see a really cool one, actually. I'll take that back. I could see a really cool one. I just haven't seen many good halfling miniatures. We don't talk about the Nolzur's miniatures on this channel. They're all garbage, all of them. Heroes, monsters. I haven't met anybody who really likes those miniatures. Yes, we are gatekeeping. Next up, the bard. I don't have a female bard. I don't know if I had one, if it would be an orc. I don't know if they would go down that path, but if they did give us a female bard and she was an orc, I guarantee she's gonna look cooler than this guy. I guarantee she's gonna have like a war drum that she's beating, like a huge horn sloped over her shoulder or something. She's gonna look really cool. Of this, I am certain, but I don't know if they'll actually make her. And they might not go that route either. They might have a very human-looking bard lady with the typical big hat and poofy pants and all of that. I don't know. They might also just come out with a hero collect, maybe not a hero collection, but maybe a couple of bards in a future X pack. Why would they do that? Well, I don't know. We have precedents though for that sort of behavior, so I don't ask why would anymore. Okay, I would probably take my female dwarf from the mythic box and place her here. Then I would probably take my female wizard from the mythic box and place her here. I would probably offer female sculpt, place it here, and or just change out that sculpt altogether. I like all three of the knight sculpts, which is kind of a problem, because this feels very imbalanced in terms of hero selection. But Ash, just do this. No, you madman, what are you thinking? Oh, I guess we do have a male form of the warlock. We can just say that this guy is the dude. Here he is. Now we're balanced. I'm just kidding. I was a halfling until I took a demonic bolt to the knee. Kind of how I would do things, but we have a selection of 12, and we've got 2 versions at least of every sculpt, at least on my table. But if we are talking about purely accessibility, this is pretty much what you're going to get. And if you missed out on the Commander of the Guardian Knights Hero Collection and you missed out on the Mythic tier, then this is pretty much what is available to you if you are a new HeroQuest player. You just got First Light and you're wanting to go back and collect everything that you can, but you don't have the money to splurge on eBay just yet. You might not have access to the rogues at this time at all. And for that reason, I really hope that we see a third rogue sculpt in one of the expansion boxes. I think the idea of hero collections is a great one, but that production issue, that sort of, it's available here and then it's not available in other parts of the world, which kind of creates a scarcity, and sometimes it's a false scarcity. We have a lot of humans out there that are grifters that buy this stuff up and try to resell it on eBay. Just too many of those people trying to make a quick buck. And unfortunately, there's people everywhere who will justify that behavior. If I can buy it, I should be able to do whatever I want with it. Therefore, I'll buy 10 of them and sell 9 for as much as I want. Hate the player, hate the game, whatever. We can't get into all of that here. But if you're a newer player, you might not have access to quite all of these sculpts from the get-go. So, proxy whatever you can until you get the 12 canonical heroes. And let's hope for even more selections when, not if, we get the Wizards of Morkar/Zargon and the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness released retail. That's not announced, by the way. I don't want anybody thinking that those things are announced, but they are teased for sure. They are teased. There are little slivers of, it's a leak technically, but I mean, it's almost guaranteed that this is what they're talking about. Gen Con's gonna have some good stuff for us this year, I truly believe. And I'm going to savor it because, well, I know that they can, if they have the resources and if they have the good fortune, continue to produce high quality, highly creative, brand new ways of playing HeroQuest with new expansions, chock full of awesome ideas, especially ideas that we've been homebrewing for decades. But I will savor the announcements, the teases, as if it were our last year, because you never know. You just never know. And on that somber note, I will see you in the next adventure. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Please comment down below. Who did you pick? Who is your number one hero? What's your favorite sculpt? Never minding the hero, what's your favorite sculpt? And my First Light heroes are still in their box, but they would go here. They would go here, and then I would promptly move all of the ones that I don't prefer over into their own little group. I actually really like the First Light Wizard, so I would keep the First Light Wizard, and I would move actually the canonical original Wizard away. No offense, Wizard, you're great, but the First Light Wizard looks just like you and has a beard. So what are you gonna do? Bye for now, brave heroes.